Hello, this is Tempo Afric TV, Beyond the Headlines show. Today we have guests from the neighborhood, Lake Street. We have on my right Alex Cesallos. Am I saying it right? He's an open street development and communication coordinator. On my left we have Jose Luis Velsignor, and he's a community organizer. Our guest has been working on Lake Street coalition, bicycle coalition project for the last 5 years. And they're here to talk about August 2nd event on Lake Street from Elliott all the way to 42nd. Okay, one of you, go ahead. Tell me, what is the project? What is it about?
Minneapolis Bicycle Coalition is an organization that for the last 5 years, like you mentioned correctly, that's been operating this event called Open Streets throughout the metro, from North Minneapolis to Northeast to downtown to South Minneapolis. For the first time on August 2nd, we will have on Lake Street our event, like you mentioned, from Elliott to 42nd from 11 to 5. It's an organization that is bringing up a very Latin American tradition called Ciclovida that started in Colombia, and that has pretty much fed into across the country. There are several states now that do open streets just as Minneapolis has been doing for the last 5 years. But like I mentioned earlier, and you said too as well, it will be the first time that we'll be doing it on Lake Street.
On Lake Street, okay. Do you have something to add to it, Alex?
No, I think, what's important with Open Streets is, so it's an event that is meant for everyone, and the goal of the event is for people to enjoy their streets and to think about their streets in a way that they haven't before, because it's not every day you get to walk down the middle of East Lake Street and visit businesses and not be in car traffic. So it's really, I think it's an exciting opportunity for people to come out and meet each other, meet their neighbors, local businesses, community groups, artists, and really it's an event that we put on with the support of the local neighborhoods and the local community groups, because if we closed down Lake Street and just put on an event for ourselves, no one would show up. So it really is important that this is an event that is facilitated by us, but really pulled together by the local community.
And I realize as a lot of business communities are participating in this event, businesses. In fact, Tempo Afric TV is one of them.
Yes.
We plan to organize a stage called African Corner, and we plan to bring entertainers from music to art and what have you. So the original founders are the Bicycle Coalition, I believe, and only bicycles and pedestrians will be on the Lake Street, right?
I mean, it's anyone who's moving in not a car, basically.
Not a
so
car,
you can walk, you can bike. If you want to skateboard or skate, you can do that as well. It's really getting around under your own power.
Okay. Are you still looking for sponsors on the Lake Street, or you're pretty much done with that?
Yeah, at this point, if anyone that's an artist or performer, or a poet that would like to partner with a local business that's selling food only, that's something we could do at this point. We're maybe a week out to the event at this point. So anyone that wouldn't need a large sound system, we would take on at this point. And maybe someone that maybe wants to do demonstrate maybe their love for a particular art or something, that could be something we could incorporate. But time is of the essence at this point. To make this a great event, we want to make sure we have everything lined up this week for sure. But like I would follow up what Alex was saying, it's just an opportunity to invite the diverse, rich history of Lake Street to come out and shine, because we're going to have people from all over, I would argue, the state coming to enjoy this event through our networks, and other people that have experienced open streets maybe in Northeast or in Uptown and have heard that it will be happening on Lake Street. And I would argue it's a very historical moment in the history of Open Streets that we're, for the first time, able to close Lake Street and promote a kind of a 5-hour event on how there are other ways to get around that's not just an automobile, while creating community and really defining the rich diversity that Lake Street provides for all residents.
And it's also good to appreciate the local businesses. I'm a resident of Minneapolis for many, many years. I would say for over 25 years. So I've seen Minneapolis, especially Lake Street, transform into a livable environment. So this is a good thing for business people.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it's not only Lake Street, but you do have different areas that you block and do this open street.
The one we'll be doing following this will be on Franklin from Portland to 28th on August 16th. And then we have...
And then downtown Minneapolis on the 23rd.
Downtown.
And so that's the first. That's a new one as well. Downtown for the first time. It's along First Avenue in downtown. To Washington Avenue.
Wow.
So that's a fairly big event. That'll be on the 23rd. So.
Okay. So you have about 5 events throughout the summertime.
Then we have 3 more in September.
3 more. Okay, 8 of them altogether.
So 8 altogether. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I attended the meeting last time.
Yes.
Over the high school. And you were also trying to get some volunteers.
Yes,
that's part of this project.
We definitely need volunteers. So these events, as you can imagine, shutting down this big of a street, making sure that people don't drive on the street by accident, making sure that everything moves smoothly, and if there's any issues that come up, requires volunteers. It takes over 100 volunteers at each event to put it on. To be a volunteer, you can just go to the openstreetsmpls.org website. It's openstreetsmpls.org. Click volunteer. It's a 2.5-hour shift. You can choose what you're interested in doing. It's as easy as standing in an intersection and putting on a kids game and playing with folks and just making sure that no one drives out onto the street, to helping us pick up after the event to make sure that we leave the street cleaner than we found it. It's 2.5 hours. You get a free Open Streets T-shirt. It's a pretty good deal. And it leaves you enough time to go out and enjoy the event after you volunteer.
So the time is from 11 to 5?
So the event is 11 to 5. You can volunteer anywhere in there. And there's shifts listed on the website as far as what we need.
Okay. And we were talking about it earlier, but there's about 3 stages throughout the Lake Street. What are they? I know one of them is
So our first, I would argue, our first stage is going to be a stage that will be highlighting the rich Mexican history, immigrant history from Mexico, and highlighting the statue of Zapata that was brought here from the state of Morelos, and its sister city from the state of Morelos to Minneapolis. They honored the city of Minneapolis with a statue of Zapata, one of our major heroes in Mexico history, and that will have a stage. It will have government officials from Mexico and also other state and city council members there too as well, highlighting the rich culture through that memorial. And then, I will let you speak about your end, but further on by the cemetery, I would argue we're going to have a very international stage, performers, poets, music, DJs, just to really encourage people to come out, get to the streets, and become comfortable and enjoy the whole route and continue all the way down to 42nd.
42nd all the way. So pretty much 3 stages.
At this point, yes.
One more South America.
Yes.
Is that okay to say Latin
America, yeah, or Mexico, I was specifically, yeah.
And the other one is African, which I'll say a little about it. And the third one is pretty much more international.
Yeah.
And there will be, there'll be music and things along the route in other spots too, but not as organized. I think there may be a few small stages, but not to the extent that, you are planning, for example.
Yeah, by the way, we're going to display all the information that, the timing, some of the activities and all that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, this is, I think, do we need to tell to the audience more information about?
I would just highlight what Alex is saying earlier, is that, if you're really into this event or finding more about it, a great way to do it is to come volunteer, not only for this event, but all the other events that we'll have coming up. I think it's really important for people that are excited about this and want to know more about it. That's one way. And the other is just come, enjoy this event with us, bike around, enjoy the food, the music. And the other thing, get the word out. Invite your relatives, your neighbors to come out and really enjoy, I would argue, a very healthy and active living event that's creating community.
Okay. Again, I've known Lake Street for many, many years, and I've seen the transformation. It's an amazing transformation. 25 years ago, you can hardly walk on the street, without having some kind of problem, which I don't go into details. But now it's great, so it's about time to appreciate the community. And since I'm glad you reminded me, our stage will have an African stage. We call it African stage, and we'll have performers from Kenya. We'll have dancers from Ethiopia. We'll have a fashion show from across Africa, from west to east. And I know I'm missing a couple of them, but it's going to be a very interesting, very attractive event. And next year we'll do better. On that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that just your stage and your participation in this event is a perfect example of what we've been seeing, and we encourage, and what we will continue to see as Open Streets becomes bigger and more people become involved, is that people are willing to take in the responsibility to, bring out a stage, bring out performers, do a show, and invite us to explain to the community how they can get involved, and how this event is not just our event, it's the community's event, because when the community members and residents own this event, it becomes more successful. And your stage is a perfect example of that.
And just like you said, there's Latin America, there's Africa, and the one that combined both and more. So I have a feeling it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and I mean, just here on 16th, we're going to have, Ingrid Brinson, that's been on the street for over 60 years. I would argue, very European indigenous food and history. And so I would argue the whole event for me is going to be a very international Open Streets event. I would argue, you can, question me, but I think of all of the Open Streets, I think this one's going to be really going to, it's really going to show the example of the rich diversity the city has. It's going to be on this avenue, on the street.
I see that Malik from Tempo Afric is already working on it, and is attracting many, many people.
That is great.
So this is a great opportunity for the African community, particularly because we have a corner where we can show our tradition, networking, business networking. And it's going to be a live show, by the way, that day from 11 to 5. We'll be having a live show. So whoever wanted to be on part of the Tempo Afric TV project, we can be in it. And we'll videotape all the shows, the fashion show, the music, and stuff like that. Well, I guess we have enough information for today.
Can I just make one more ask real fast? I just want to, anyone who, if you're a small business owner or along Lake Street or in the neighborhood, or if you are an artist or performer, like Jose Luis mentioned, definitely go to the website, openstreetsmpls.org, and click get a spot on the street, click become a sponsor, and just we'll follow up with you. But I would do it as soon as possible, just to make sure that you do get that spot on the street, if you're interested in being there.
Yeah, and also if you're into it too as well, become a member of Minneapolis Bicycle Coalition. There's an option for that too as well. The more that we diversify our membership, the richer our organization becomes.
I should have made that ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. On that note, we'll end up our program. Thank you, Jose Luis. Thank you, Alex. And I wish you much success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.